So we move into the Kharkiv front, the Kharkiv offensive. The Russian offensive is still ongoing, but it's starting to seem to run out of steam with the Ukrainians starting to do more counteroffensive operations. We still have reports of fighting reported at Kharkiv. So this comes after around 1 day or 2 days, because the report come out only for 2 days. Russian Defense Ministry report. Yesterday they didn't mention it, but the day before they actually report about an attack on the Ukrainian forces at Kharkiv. So Granov. So we shall continue to monitor over at this Kozacha Lopan sector. Over at this Lyptsi sector, Russian forces continue their assault towards Lyptsi. However, the Ukrainians are counterattacking over at Gliboke as well as over at Lyptsi. So the Ukrainian forces, after the reinforcement had arrived, stopping the Russian offensive, they are now on the counter. So the similar situation is happening over on the other side. There's a geolocation though, Ukrainian artillery, Ukrainian forces getting hit by artillery. The same situation over at Vovchansk. At the Vovchansk sector, the Ukrainian forces have launched a major counteroffensive operation, and they have been geolocated in multiple locations. So they have geolocated in 3 different locations, and this is unprecedented for this front, because the Ukrainians has always been geolocated south of the Vovchansk River. So this is the first time we have a geolocation of them in the northern part in this Russian offensive. And the Ukrainian forces basically in the video footages are conducting counteroffensive operations, and the forces that is conducting this operation seems to be very experienced. They are not like the cannon folders. These guys knows what they are doing. And so as such, the entire chunk of this territory over here has which was previously a gray zone, because there was an overlapping mapping. Ukrainian mapping and the Russian mapping was overlapping each other. So the entire part of the Ukrainian claims is now being adjusted to be the actual front line. So the entire Russian side is large part of the Russian mapping has been now invalidated. In fact, there is an increase because there is a geolocation showing that the Ukrainians have advanced further. However, Russian forces also have advanced a little bit as they are heading south. Despite they are in a major battle with the Ukrainians trying to hit into the rear position in this flanking operation. The Russians are currently still engaging in this operation around at Vovchansk, so the clash is ongoing. I'm not sure if the Russians actually have a defensive position to hold back the Ukrainians in this area here. I suppose they have, but let's see what the Ukrainians can do. So this, I saw the Frontline Changes report comments. A lot of people are very triggered when I use the word turning point. It is a turning point. When's the last time you see a Ukrainians capture this much ground? So the Ukrainians are now conducting a major counteroffensive, and it is having some result. It is a turning point, but the turning point can turn back again. You can turn in the 360 degrees and go back to exactly the same point. So turning point only for the 2 days report. Tomorrow it might turn back into the Russian success. So don't cope so much. It's very NAFO-ish, so don't be a ruffle, whatever that is supposed to mean. So this is the current situation over at the Vovchansk sector. Over at the Staritsia sector, there is still fighting reported at Staritsia, with the Ukrainian Defense Ministry reported that they have repelled attack over the Staritsia region, with the Russian forces continuing their offensive to try to capture the entire of this settlement. There is no geolocation to prove that the Russians have captured the entire of Staritsia. As I mentioned in the Frontline Changes report, the Russian Defense Ministry have announced they have captured Staritsia on the 18th of May. However, it cannot be corroborated. There is still fighting being reported in this region here. So this is the reason why you have to put some skepticism when you're reading Russian Defense Ministry report. Don't think that they are perfect. Russia is just as corrupted as Ukraine. Okay, that's a bit too much. Russia is also a corrupted country. Also they also do bullshit. They also do propaganda. They are not at the level of Ukraine. Ukraine's corruption is horrible, very, very bad. They are already famous to be very, very corrupted. Before, people would even decide to become pro-Ukraine. But the important thing to note is that in all big countries where you have massive amount of land and population like Ukraine or Russia, there is bound to be a lot of hierarchical problems. So don't expect like this kind of thing to always be accurate. The Russian Defense Ministry may be very sincere and honest about them thinking that they have captured a town. But how would they even know that they have captured a town? It depends on the men on the ground telling them that they have captured the ground. If the men report false information, especially the commanders, they wanted to get some medals and try to improve their promotion, the chance of promotion or gaining a bonus or something, there's a high possibility that they could or they would declare gray zones as captured, and as a result this would become false information, and then the Russian Defense Ministry or the higher echelon will actually be planning operations based on false information, and then they will create bad plannings because you have the wrong information. So this is the reality at this moment. There is no corroboration in terms of the Russian claims. So you can believe whatever you want. I'm telling you, I'm not pro-Ukraine. I'm not pro-Russia. It is what it is. So there is fighting being reported at Vovchansk Kotori. This is according to the Russian Defense Ministry. They say that they have advanced further and then hitting Ukrainian positions. So this after Russians have declared that they have captured Taikei on the 11th of May. This is totally not acknowledged on the Ukrainian side. So it seems like the Russians are now either attacking or they are just bombarding Ukrainian forces over at Vovchansk Kotori. It is also important to note that there's a high chance this is not an attack but just a shelling, because the Russians themselves have blown up the bridge over at Taikei. So this bridge here is already destroyed, so for the Russians to cross over is going to be difficult. Like I mentioned before, the Russians are blowing up all the bridges, showing that they actually have no intention to actually advance south. They are just here as a pinning operation, and it's very successful. They have drawn a lot of experienced troops into this area here. Yeah, and so this is how you draw out the troops that you want to demilitarize. So this is a war of attrition, so don't cope so much. There is a shelling also reported over at Billy Kolodias over this position, a bit of a distance. So that's about it over at the Kharkiv Front, I believe. So that's all from Kharkiv Front. We move into the Kherson Front, as we will go from the Kherson to Zaporizhia, Donetsk, Avdiivka, Bakhmut, Sievers and whatnot, going up in the anti-clockwise direction. In the Kherson Front, we still have reports of fighting over Krinky, according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, on the 22nd and on the 23rd. So the latest report I've seen before the recording is the Russians still attacking Krinky. Shelling is reported at Yakhinka and Vasily, according to the Russian Defense Ministry. So that's about it. The Kherson Front is always very meaningless. Over at the Zaporizhia Front,